Morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. Let's talk. Um, so I woke up this morning and my mind was wandering, and I was thinking about some things, and I looked on my page, and I saw shout outs to a lot of great sports figures, great athletes, and the things that they've been able to do through sports. And something hit me. um, our people have always been given leeway to be the entertainment. We've been given most of our power and most of our accolades in entertainment, being entertainment for the master. And so I wanted to touch on this a little bit this morning because there's a big time disparity in the power and influence that we have in entertainment and the power and influence that we have in business. And we can see the disparities right away with the amount of black coaches in any sports league, or the amount of black team owners in any sports league, or the amount of any business owners, period, that are black. We have a handful of black CEOs and business owners. And most of the time, whenever blacks reach a high place in business, they're usually the first to do so. We always hear that term. This is the first black man to have a position in this seat. And this is the first black woman to ever be along with this group, because black people have never been given any type of power when it comes to business and things of that nature. We've always been given power in the area of sports and entertainment, to be entertainment for these people. So I want to put this out here real quick and let everybody understand what I'm talking about when I say that we have a monopoly on being the entertainment. This is what I mean. And we'll go back to the Civil War. Right after the Civil War and the Reconstruction of 1865 through about 1877, this is the time when blacks were really flourishing. This is the time when we had our own HBCUs, our own black colleges. We had blacks in office. We had so many things that were going for us. And once the people of that time, those white people understood that blacks were growing and we were evolving into a political powerhouse, they went back to what they were talking about in Wilmington, North Carolina, whenever they made that plot to demonize black people and to make it seem that blacks are inferior. That's where you get the whole big scary black man concept from. They were spreading all of this rhetoric to create a narrative about black men. And so during that time, um, we see where this formulated from. We had so many black people who were in power. And remember, going back to Wilmington, North Carolina, in that document that they made, they said that they would never be under the rule of an African man, period. And they meant that. And so going into these situations and going into the Civil War and how everything ended up being when we started to gain power, the red flag went up. And it got to the point to where we became economically independent in a lot of areas. Like you said, Wilmington was a mostly black place. Chicago was mostly black. There were so many areas that were mostly black and that were growing and flourishing during this time. And the white man said, we have to keep that narrative going, that black people are inferior, because if they start to get a win that they can accomplish something and other people do, then we're going to be questioned about why we created that narrative in the first place. So they didn't want that smoke. And so in order to continue that narrative, they dropped a bomb on a black community that was economically independent of white people and the government, for the simple fact that they wanted to keep that narrative that black people are inferior and that we weren't capable of having a functioning society on our own without them. These are the things that they did to make sure that everybody saw us as inferior. And all the way up to this very day, they continue to do it. The narratives that are spread, the images and the stereotypes that are perpetuated about us, and everything you see on TV is geared towards us being lesser than. The whole blackface thing. They didn't want to put a black person on the screen because they wanted to perpetuate that narrative and they wanted to carry on that stereotype. And so they smeared black whatever on their face, and they went out there and they gave the image of black people that they wanted the world to see. I remember a Vietnam veteran stated, this was a black Vietnam veteran. He stated this, and it was very, very insightful. He said, when they got to Vietnam, the people over there in Vietnam already knew the term nigger. They knew what it meant, they knew how to use it, and they used it quite often with the black soldiers. Where did they learn it from? They learned it from the propaganda that was being pushed. They learned it from the white soldiers that were over there because they often heard them call us and refer to us in that manner. And so they adopted that narrative that was pushed by those white soldiers in Vietnam because those people over there didn't have a word for us like that. But this is the environment that we come up in. So you have to know what we're dealing with and what we're facing every single day. Every single day, there's an agenda to make you seem like you're inferior if you're black or brown. And the only power and influence that you're going to have is in the area of entertainment. So you can entertain the masters. But anytime you try to step outside of that power, you're going to get dealt with and get consequences. Ask Bill Cosby. This is your boy D Mac. That's all I had to say. I'm out.